As students, how do we learn, lead, and grow when the world stops but time doesn't? Hello everyone, my guest today is Danielle Honoré. Danielle, welcome to the Scene in STEAM.
Thank you.
So Danielle, I had to have you to talk about leadership because you are a member of Honda on our school's trivia team, and you're recently the captain of the Honda team, and you're so good at it. What's the best way you've found over the years to be a good leader or lead, even when you don't feel like it, or even like when you don't feel up to the task?
Personally, I have been a leader before, just, back in church stuff at home and everything. But, during the pandemic and everything, like, it was pretty hard to find motivation, obviously, but I still would have to tell myself, like, obviously I wish things were different. Like, I wish they were better. I wish that we could have, the college experience that we were supposed to have. But this is what we got. And so when it's over, you're going to wish that you had, made the best of it. So make the best of it.
Got you.
And, yeah.
Yeah, and during the pandemic, it was really hard to find motivation to do anything, really. But what do you think about, the leadership we got during that time, the health professionals, and all of that going on? It's kind of hard to judge from the outside, but do you think the leadership was successful in pulling us out of it, or leading us in the right direction to, take care of it effectively? What are your thoughts on it?
From the very beginning, I don't think that leadership was successful because on a nationwide level, there was a way that we could have handled this thing, like, from the very beginning, that didn't turn it into something so political. And, if science was the thing that was most prioritized the whole time, and there was clear public policy that supported public health research and epidemiology research and everything, then, we could have gotten such a better grasp on this from the time that everybody locked down. And with the numbers, like, going back and forth now, up and down and everything, it's easy to see that people are just really, really tired of having to, put their lives on hibernation state. If research was the thing that was put at the forefront of, PR and everything, none of this would have to be so bad. We're, pretty close to 1 million deaths, and it just didn't need to be that way.
Right, and you talked a little bit about, putting science first before, making it political, and I guess maybe there are things we don't know about. But what do you think could have been done differently? Because you talked a little bit about it, but like, what do you think? Because as college students now, we're very much still in hibernation, as you say. Do you think anything could have been done to change that?
For sure. I think mask mandates from the beginning. I know that with conservative legislation and stuff, and conservative legislators and everyone else, there is, kind of concern over whether that is an abuse of power. Even if it wasn't like you have to wear a mask in public 100% of the time, every time you go out, there are ways that things could have been enforced where, spread wouldn't have been as much of an issue. I think that even with vaccination stuff, there's, so much discourse, obviously, over, whether vaccines should be mandated federally and everything, or, what it's like now that they are starting to be. I think there was a way, and it just wasn't explored. And I also really, really wish that even in the states where vaccination was popular and doing well and everything, that once numbers started to get lower because of vaccinations, I wish that things didn't open up so quickly again also.
Right.
And of course, people have to get back to work. businesses need people to work at them, and that means that parents have to send their kids to school. But even, with schools and everything, like, it would have been possible to let people stay home and not have to worry about going out to provide in the first place, because, the role of government is to provide security in exchange for goods and services.
Right.
And that could have been, we pay taxes for a reason, so that in times of need, our government can take care of us. Yeah.
And as college students, it was really stressful when it first came. And, we had to go home, and, we thought it was just going to be like 2 weeks, 2-week break, and then we'd come back, but that was not the case. And we ended up being home for a long time, not really being able to be social. And I feel like it was really a toll on our mental health. As college students, we're also pushed to be leaders ourselves. Do you think that's been affected and a lot of pressure has been put on us unnecessarily during the pandemic? Or do you think leadership has been kind of giving us the resources that we need to deal with something that no other generation has really had to deal with?
Yeah, I don't think that there's more pressure put on us. I think that the pressure is the same as it has been. And, college, the general societal, view of it is it's going to be a really stressful 4 years, but it'll also be really fun. And when you get through it, you'll have been glad that, you did it.
Right.
And that you figured out that you could do something on your own for the, very first big time. And that kind of pressure is still on us, but without any kind of leniency, really, of the situation. I feel like recently, very recently, people have started to understand more, as we're a couple of, really almost 2 years out. And people are starting to really see the kind of damage that long COVID can do, or even just being sick for, a little while. There's starting to be more forgiveness and more understanding, and not just because of the illness, but, because of the psychological impact of it all. Because, we were told that we would get sent home for a little while.
Right.
And even though I knew, kind of pragmatically, that there was a decent chance that we wouldn't come back for that semester, I still had hope that maybe by August things would be good enough for us to have a complete, resumption, is that a word, of college? And it didn't happen. Right. And I think just the double whammy, basically, of you're isolated from your friends, and even from your loved ones, and you have to do all the academic stress of school without any of the social aspect that you need. Not only that, because humans are social creatures, we really do need interaction, but also having to witness, seemingly from your bedroom, just the way that numbers were growing, and nobody knew what to do. There's conflicting information everywhere, and it becomes this political issue of, well, it's science versus whatever else. And the science is wrong, and who cares if your kids get it, I'll be okay. And all of this really, really ugly and sad behavior. So having to see both of those things together, of course, has really been not easy for anyone in our generation, I think. And especially because the Spanish flu was a thing, 100 years ago, there was something like this before, but there has never ever been so documented, so visible, so globalized pandemic aspects before. This has never been such a widely realized and verbalized kind of situation.
Right.
Yeah, we really are the first ones to do it. It's been a lot.
It has. It's kind of crazy, and I think now people are starting to get it and kind of be okay, we need to make accommodations for this really traumatic thing that happened in the past few years. But do you think that there's been any kind of change in which which is it's getting better, and they're actually leading us through it and kind of giving us any kind of leniency?
Yeah, I do see now there's, kind of the trend of seniors, juniors, and the seniors of the last 2 years as well, of college, understanding like how short life is, and how hard and taxing college really can be sometimes, especially when you don't have your friends to guide you through it.
Right.
And I think a lot of people have realized, like, I don't know if I want to jump straight into school. I want to maybe take some more time to explore the world, travel if I, have the means to,
Right.
just spend some time with my family or my friends, or really figure out like what it is that I'm passionate about. And even people who worry like maybe my grades aren't good enough even to get into school right away, just like, or people just need a breather in general. Yeah. And I think that schools now, graduate schools, professional schools, are maybe starting to understand, and then of course that trickles down to people at the college level, of the kind of mindset that we all are in, or a decent number of us, because I'm definitely in that mindset. I do want to be a doctor, but I don't think that I could go to med school right now. And that actually has inspired a choice of what I want to do next, which is a master's in public health.
Nice.
And that definitely is because of the pandemic. Like, I had always been interested in like, epidemiology and just how disease can impact generations of a society. But yeah, this has definitely been the kicker. That's been like, maybe you should go down that route. Yeah, and not force yourself into 4 years of med school so quickly. Yeah. But I do see, things like every now and then MCAT scores being waived. It's being more popular for the GRE to be waived. Things like that, just maybe as kind of a cushion for all of this, which I definitely am super grateful for, pushed back deadlines and everything, because yeah.
Absolutely, it's been a lot. And, like I said, I'm also glad that, administration, the powers that be, are understanding a little more that you don't have to go straight through. Because I've heard so often, like, no, you should go straight through, and you don't want to lose what you have. And what do you mean you need a break? You haven't done anything. I'm just like, these years have been so much. Like, sometimes you need a breather, and just like, I need to breathe, I need to rest, I need to like get myself back together. I definitely feel you on that.
Also, sometimes I have to remind myself, like, when I get comments like those, we have done stuff.
Right.
We have done a lot.
A lot.
Jayde, look at where we are right now. Like, college hasn't been, just because it's hard doesn't mean that we haven't been working, because we've been working very hard.
Yeah.
And, there are definitely some fruits of our labor that have been realized and stuff, and that's pretty rewarding. So I just, I understand the need from everyone to sort of worry about what our next steps are and everything, and not want us to lose momentum or whatever. But
we've done stuff.
Yeah.
And, we deserve a break if we need one. But Danielle, thank you so much for coming today. It was amazing having you.
No problem.
You guys can follow Danielle at danielle.as.well on Instagram.
Yes.
Her information will be in the bio. Danielle, it was amazing having you. I can't wait to see what you're going to do. I know it's going to be amazing, whatever it is.
You too.